it's easier and more affordable to get treatment for your hair loss and help keep their
Hello? Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Hi,
Hey.
everyone.
How you doing?
Hey, Alex.
Hi.
I thought that was your
Good.
professor. I was
Yep.
like, he's the only Tom I know who's in German.
That's actually my dad.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, I heard the accent. I was like, oh, it's Professor Harold. I don't know. Hello, sir.
okay, so I have a program that I would like to share with you all. I'll put it in the chat as a PDF. Okay, there we go. Feel free to access that. Yeah, thanks. So thanks everyone for coming. Glad all of you could make it. It's really cool that we can do this and have people from literally across the globe to come and tune in. I think that's really amazing technology. So I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes.
Are you sure? It's
Some
in the
people can
chat?
roll in. Sorry?
I don't see anything in the chat that you posted. Are you sure it's there?
Yeah, there should be a file.
Hmm. Oh, I see what happened. Okay.
Yep. Wow, this is really amazing. There's all these people from different areas of my life. That's really strange. Okay, I think we have a good amount of people. So I'm gonna have to mute everyone for now. But
Sorry, it still hasn't loaded for me.
oh, the program?
Yeah, it's a link in the chat. Siri, shut up.
Yeah. Can other people see the program?
1 second.
Hi, Scott.
Hello.
So I see people, typing things and, people's chat, but not a link to anything.
It should be there as a PDF. But
In the chat?
yes, in the chat. Yep.
I see something that says file, but Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, your computer.
That's strange.
My internet sucks. Maybe it just hasn't loaded.
I'm just gonna copy and paste it then.
Okay.
Hopefully the formatting will be all right. Okay, that looks not too bad. So every line is a new.
Hi, Alex. I'm sorry. Let me just say something real quick. If you share
totally.
a file with people before they walk into the room, they don't see it. Which
oh.
So if you can send it again, whoever got here later can get the program now.
Absolutely.
Or send it via email.
That's true. Yeah. Everyone here. Okay. Cool. Here's the program. Should work now. But if not, you have it in the chat too.
There we go.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. All right. So I guess I'll get started then.
Can you text it to me? It just is not showing up for me for some reason.
I have to start, but I can text it to you afterwards.
Okay.
Also, there should be no meeting password. All right. Okay. Yeah. So thanks everyone for coming. I really appreciate, and I'm glad that each and every one of you could make it here. So hello, welcome to my online senior composition recital. The program will take about an hour, and it'll consist of about 92% of music that I've written for a sort of a custom instrument circuit bend synth that I've built here. This is the instrument down here. And I'll talk more about it later. And I have a little bit of a presentation on how it works and what I've done to build it. So I'd like to remind everyone to keep their microphones on mute. And also, if you could hold any applause or questions till the very end of the recital, that would be very cool. Once the program's over, I'll stay on the call afterwards. So if anyone wants to talk or have a chat, feel free. So without further ado then, here is the very first piece I've written for this instrument back in 2018, titled Crypt Warbler. Still getting it set up. Okay. Okay. All right. Enjoy. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I can hear all of your clapping in my head. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. So let me stop the share for a second. So yeah, that one, I hope you enjoyed it. That one I played live during the spring composition recital in 2018, I think. And that was the recording that you had just heard. So let's jump right into the presentation. So I have a little PowerPoint that I prepared. Here it is. How do I, oh wait, I have to share my screen again, that's right. Thank you. Share screen, computer sound, great. From beginning. There we go, okay. So I hope you can all hear me and see the PowerPoint. So this is the instrument right underneath me right now. It's a Casio MT240. And while I might have called it a synth, it's not actually technically a synthesizer because it doesn't synthesize any sounds by itself. What it's actually more similar to is a sampler, which takes recordings and repitches them chromatically. But this keyboard doesn't allow any user recordings to be sampled, so calling it a sampler wouldn't be right either. It's really more of what you could call a rompler, because all the samples that are available to use are stored in the synth's read-only memory, the ROM memory. So this is what I've done to access all these wacky sounds and stuff that you guys have heard. So I've accessed the internal information, the ROM memory, through hardware adjustments, and this is the process called circuit bending. There's a lot of actually different sounds one can produce by connecting pins all over the circuit board, and here is the entire circuit board. Here it is. This is the entire main circuit board, and you can see I've marked where I've connected pins. But I only focused on this chip here because for a couple of reasons. The pins are easily accessible, and because there's a lot of the pins on this chip I found were interacting in very noticeable ways. So what I did at the start with a friend of mine was to take metallic tweezers to just touch two of the pins together, and the pins are these little gray dots here of metal. And this would sort of connect the circuit and bypass whatever component it is going into. And this would usually change the sound. And this, I just went through trial and error until I found this chip gave me the best results. So I decided to go for a more permanent upgrade. So I soldered or soldered wires from each pins and fed the wires through a hole that I drilled in the casing. And if you can imagine wires coming from each of those pins out at the back and into this little thing here, which is a breadboard. A breadboard's typically used for a different purpose, but what I used it here for is to split the signal or to act as a sort of like a hub. So each of the 30 wires, here's a little diagram I made. Yeah, so each of the 30 rows on the breadboard corresponds to one of the pins on the circuit. By connecting, for example, here I'm connecting pins 1 and 4 and 1 and 8 through this white wire here. And what this allows me to do is I can access multiple pins multiple times. So if I can connect two pins to one, for example, 2 wires to 1. So I have 1 connected to 4 and 8 here. The way I access this is this control panel here. So this is the control panel. And on the back of the panel, this is the back down the bottom picture there. you can see wires coming out the back of it, and the wires, they go into the breadboard like this, and that's how I form the connections. Let me go back for a second. Yeah. So this allows me to reconfigure it however many times and however fast I want to. So it's not like a fixed thing. So I can just change it for each song or whatever I feel like, really. So that really ends up in a lot of combinations, which is really cool. And I think I tried to calculate it once, and it came out to like 1,700,000 or something, which is, you know, realistically, I'm never going to be able to see what every single combination does, and probably a lot of them do something very similar, but it's kind of cool. Yeah. So also as an addendum, these top three buttons here are push buttons. They're not switches, so they're not toggled on or off. Rather, if you depress them, then the connection goes through, and if you let it go, then the connection stops. And the black one here is reversed, which means that if it is connected, if it is not depressed, then the connection will run through, and if you do press it, then it'll go on. Okay, cool. So yeah, hopefully that clears up a little bit of what's going on in the machine there. So also I realized that I can share the program here. So this is the program that's just happened. So here is memory recall. Please enjoy. Now flute /413. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to pause it right here because the next one's a little bit different. This one is this one is not electronic. This one is an acoustic piece with a piano, cello, and voice. And the person who played piano is here, which is pretty cool. And this was, I think, in a recital in 2018 as well. Yes. So here is Cry of the Ospreys. I hope you enjoy.
Wooooo.
Cool. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I hope that was enough of a break from the electronic madness for you guys, because we're going right back with a very grim titled piece named Prepare for Wars of the Future. This is Cassiel rolling now.
I think you forgot to unmute.
No, I just said all that, and now I have to say it again. No problem. I just wanted to mention real quick that thank you, by the way, for letting me know that I've logged the pin combinations that I've used to make these pieces. So, for example, this one I used 2 switches, one on 1 plus 11 and one on 15 plus 25. And I was on the piano tone setting, which is important later. So I'll explain that. Okay, let's get back into it. What's next? I have to check the program for my own recital. Okay, here's bit death. last recorded piece that I have on this program. I hope you enjoyed that one. So this one is slightly different in that it was recorded not through the line out from my synth, but rather just from the speakers into my computer microphone, because my line in jack just stopped working for some reason. So that's why you heard the clicks, which I think Scott mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but it did add an interesting component to it, being able to hear the like actual clicks of the piece. And also, thank you, Marcos. That's a very nice compliment. One more thing is that the reason why this is titled equals 1, 2, 3 is because there were a lot of pin combinations for this one, and the sum of all of these was 123. Yeah, so that's all the recorded music I have for you guys. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I things I consider when I'm performing / improvising on the synth. And I have a little PowerPoint, and also I have I'm going to switch my audio so that I can play examples for you live from my synth right here. So let me turn my phone down there. Is that good? I can't tell. I think, yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, it looks all right. So let me make sure the audio stuff is right on Zoom. I'm gonna stop the share for a second. Okay. Mute. So the quality should have changed now because I'm splitting from my voice and the synth. So let me take a look. Now I can share my screen again, share computer sound, and it should work. Let me just test it. Can you guys hear from the synth? Good? Cool. Thanks. Okay, so to the presentation. So you'll see here, I have highlighted this tone box here, and that's actually very important because besides the pins, second most important thing to consider, I would say, is to keep track of which tone setting is active at the time, because a pin combination can sound radically different based on which tone is active. So here's just an example of the piano, and now here's the flute setting. Now here's, I'm going to go back to piano and switch on one of the switches. Here's 1 + 10 turned on. So I get like this sound is piano, but if I were to turn it off and now switch on flute, and then turn on the switch, I get a completely different sound. So it's really important to remember exactly which setting you're on, and the setting you are on.
All right, Mama, you want to just trash this?
Largely.
Has anyone gotten the mail? No?
Okay, so yeah, so another interesting thing is that if I turn on the piano tone, if I turn on the keyboard, it starts up with a piano tone. But when I learned that when I left the switch on and then turned the keyboard on, it starts on a different tone. So, for example, let me see. So I'm going to turn the keyboard on now, 1.8, and turn it off. And now it's this like honky-tonk sort of sound. But if I just turn the keyboard on with the switch being off, so the switch is in the off position now, it'll default to piano. So so if the switch is on when the power is turned on, it'll go to a different sound, which is something you have to consider. And this kind of is a bit annoying.
Bobby, did you want to take your car?
Consider it, but
All right, Bobby's gonna.
it works.
Bobby.
Alex, you do know you commute people, right?
Yeah, it keeps muting them for some reason.
Bobby.
I'm gonna have to remove them.
I know. I wanted to know that he has to move his car. It's right in front of the garage.
You can join if they want to again.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Pardo. Yeah. So a cool thing about this is that. So now I'm gonna activate 1 + 6. So let me reset. Go to 1 + 6. So this is 1 + 6. I found that pressing some of these tone buttons will turn the tone to something completely different. So I press this. Normally it would go to multi-split / percussion, but since 1 + 6 is on, it goes to this synth-y sound, which is really interesting. And to my surprise, after doing a little bit of research, I discovered that there are actually 10 additional tones in addition to these 20, which are included in the ROM memory, but they aren't accessible through the buttons. So apparently the manufacturer just included them, but they didn't put in the buttons, which is really interesting. And I think I want to find out how to access all of them through some of these circuit bends. So the next thing I want to talk about is how I'm writing this booklet. So here's the booklet right now, and on screen you can see this is a sample page I have. So I'm logging all of the pin combinations in order, though I might change that. So right now this is 1 + 11 piano. So on the right, I have a small description of what all the sounds make. So I have in a grand staff format, I have low C all the way on the bottom of the keyboard here to high C all the way up here, and a little description of what each does, just so I can reference it and see. I kind of want, I don't know, let's choose, let's just choose noisy sweep here. This looks like that's B3, it looks like. So let me reset, turn on 1 + 11, and here's B3. Okay. Yeah, that's an example of that. So on the left side, I have a couple of key attributes that are important to note, I'd say. The first thing here is mostly consistent. So this means that most of the keys are consistent and produce the same results. And here's a comparison on consistent versus non-consistent keys. So this key is consistent. Whoops, this key is consistent. So every time I play it, it's the same. But this one is inconsistent. So you see that. That's important to note too. And interesting. I'm not sure why some of them are not consistent. It makes sense to me that they would be consistent, but I guess I haven't figured it out yet. The second thing is sequence, and this is a sequence of pitches and noises that appears very often in many different variations in this keyboard, and there's a lot of it's always based on the tritone, which is really interesting. And I think that I think that it's some sort of like test sequence in the synth. So 3 is pulse. This is the next one here. Whoops. Yeah, this means that some notes on this will initiate a pulse at a set tempo. So, so this, you can hear like a pulse and it's consistent. And this is important because other switches can actually use the pulse and manipulate it. So here I'm turning on 17 plus 22 now. And then it'll go back to the pulse. Here's 19 plus 22, and this one's a little more obvious. So here the pulses increase in speed. So the next thing here is hammer, and this works with the next one, which I noted was called linger. So this what these mean together is that there's 10 notes can be played at once. Officially, it's called like 10-voice polyphony, and it's like something, a quality of like the synth. And so basically, once you play the 11th note, the first voice will cut out, and this combines with lingers to create an interesting effect. It means that once a note is played, it will continue playing until the keyboard is shut off. So combined with hammer, it's kind of interesting. So let's try it. So I'm going to hammer this one. You can make like sort of composite sounds with it, basically. Yeah, I'll move on a little bit. Let's see. So I'm gonna skip a couple of these. Zombie, that's an interesting one. This is the only combination I've found that does this, but after a certain amount of time, if the switch is left on, it will randomly start up playing, even if it isn't, even if I'm playing, which is interesting. And lastly, I have a cautionary note at the bottom, and I wrote a little bit humorously, but playing either note of a G major dyad in the lowest octave may require a hard reset. And basically, what this means is that if I were to play either of these two notes, now the keyboard is disabled. I can't press anything else. Even the power button doesn't work. I can't turn it off. The only thing I can do is to turn off the main power, which I have modified a little bit to make it a little easier. So I basically unplugged it and plugged it back in because it was hard. It was hard stuck there. That's it. And so the only other information I write is panning if it interests me, and volume, in case where some sounds are much louder or quieter than others. So now I'm going to attempt to perform a live improvisation for you guys. With all these pin combinations here that are set for all these examples. Hopefully it'll work. It might be a little disjointed, but I really just want to show you guys the different sounds that you can make with the different combinations. I would like to issue a quick warning, a volume warning, because some sounds can be a lot louder. So if you're wearing headphones, if you can, I'd recommend unplugging them. If not, I would turn down the volume. So let's give it a shot. All right. turned off. Well, I think that's a good way to end it. So thanks. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much for attending, everyone. I really appreciate all of you being here. Yeah, if you'd like to leave now, feel free. You're free to go. But
Really
if you
cool,
want to
Alex.
talk- thank you. Thanks, Gavin. Yeah, if you want to talk or anything.
That was an amazing recital, Alex.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
Marcos. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to support me, the best thing you could do is follow my SoundCloud.
Wonderful job. Wonderful
Thanks.
job.
Thank
You
you.
really put so much great work this semester.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to you
Yes,
tomorrow.
see you all tomorrow.
Yeah. What do you think, Spooky? Gotta feed my cat. He had to sit through me playing loud sounds for an hour. Here, Spooks. Let's see who's left. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. This is really amazing.
Good work, Alex.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex.
Is Alex?
Yeah?
Is this the last thing you had left?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I think this, well, actually I have to submit like a Woodwinds final or something, but yeah, this is essentially the last thing. How about you? Hello? Oh no. Yeah.
Wait.
Huh?
That's a chat.
Oh yeah, the chat. I haven't checked that yet.
That's the chat. The chat. The.
Oh my god. Where is the chat? Zoom is so strange. Oh wait, I can stop the share now. Yeah, there we go. How do I get to the chat? Oh my god, 44. That's really amazing. Oh, that's really nice. So many nice messages from everyone. The kettle did indeed boil over. Okay, yeah, I guess that's it. I'll probably, I'll shut off the call now, so thanks to everyone who came. Really appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you guys could make it.
Yeah, I love hearing about how you were building that.
Yeah.
Everything's fucking wild. I get all this sound up.
Thanks, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm really excited to hear that.
Yeah, I'm only gonna go forward from here. Unless Spooky objects, my cat. He is furiously drinking water right now. Let me see if I can... No. He's like, why? What do you think, Spooky? You like it?
Okay.
It's raining outside.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna shut off the call. Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. All of you. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.